Hey, what's up, man? The UK just keeps making great magazines. I'm trying to save my money, but like I look through these and I go, man, this is good. So, and of course, look at always the cover, always whatever thing you have related to this, model magazines, wargaming magazines, toy soldier collector, or even other ones. You're always gonna have these dudes somewhere in the wings. Okay? There's just something about them. You know. And like I said, you have very detailed ones and soldiers. I prefer the old-fashioned ones, but I really appreciate the craftsmanship here. Always the Matilda, love that Matilda, the greatest small heavy tank never made, or at least it looks cool to me. I had mentioned, you have the editorials here are usually very positive. Unlike, like, say, Rue Morgue, this dude doesn't want to attack anybody. You want to get, especially with this, is an artisanal industry. Okay, all these companies are not very large companies. They're kind of maybe one or two people, some of them, or maybe five. You want to do good by your customers. Isn't that amazing? In this day and age. Let's go through here. You got the flags. Oh no! Oh no! You got. Oh, I can't show these things. Yeah, this flag didn't do anything wrong. Hey, just going through. I'm gonna go through the whole thing. I want to see more of these, right? More monster ones. I mean, London Gothic collectibles. Actually, if I do get a, these pewter figures, I want to get the monster ones from that company. But you get the other ones here. Interesting. Of course, like I said, you're always gonna have these dudes. You're always gonna have them. There's an appeal aesthetically. That's just on the surface. Okay, then everybody knows these dudes were the best soldiers. Now look at these. Like, this is like the old-fashioned kind of toy soldiers with the cuirassiers. Oh, this guy got popped. Oh, but with the horses, you always have like the horse takes up more space. You think of like the oh no, how dare you. The Matilda again, man. Love that. That's a heavy tank. That's like, look how little it is, man. Let's look at the P-47. I'm not into planes as much, but I should start to. I should, Of course, like I said, I prefer kind of like these old-fashioned, like glossy. I guess they call them glossy characters. I don't know why. I seem to, like them. Better, and it seems like they would probably be a little more affordable than some of these really detailed ones. I mean, these things ain't cheap, man. This is a boomer hobby, straight up. The greatest generation. Yeah, thank you. Like this. Oh, colonialism. Oh. Yeah, and they had a cool article here about, of course, Champlain, right? Of course, the famous. French leader Samuel de Champlain. Okay, and the whole thing that happens, the interesting thing that the French were very effective up until, like I said, the end of the French and Indian War, when Canada was finally taken from them. But they did pretty good with not a lot of guys, of course, and they were integrated well with the Indians. But the irony is that in doing so, they actually made eternal enemies of the most powerful Indian group, the Iroquois, who were always, because of what happened in this incident, the Iroquois were loyal to the English and then later the British. The Iroquois were the baddest Indians you had in terms of the ass-kicking Indians. And right, the Mohawks, right, are depicted with shields. They had cotton armor, shields, and spears and other things. Okay, the Iroquois, who were a scourge of all the Algonquin people, whether in the coasts or the Hurons later. But it's interesting how Champlain, like many Europeans, when he comes, I believe he allied with the Algonquin speaking. Of course, the Algonquins, like I said, there's something about the Algonquins and the Iroquois. There was this kind of divide that was, I mean, they were ruthless. I mean, bitter enemies, and the Iroquois usually got the better of or dominated the Algonquins. And whenever they could, they would try to make allies to try to do something to them. Now, of course, the theory. James has a theory. I believe it. The Iroquois are descended from basically a mixture of, Vikings, right, coming in. That's why they had the weapons that they had and trying to make them. That's why they knew about iron. Okay, that's why they talked about the stone gods, and they talked about, lightning gods. Okay, just the Iroquois. So that's just a theory. That would piss off both left and right, actually, if you think about it. But it's an interesting history thing here. Champlain was actually a decent man. Okay, he actually was a privateer. Was down in South America, in Peru, and he did not like how the indigenous people were treated by the conquistadors. So then the whole thing with the French is that they pretty much traded with the Indians. They had settlements, but they pretty much, more than agriculture, large scale agriculture, they kind of made their money with trade, and they kind of made alliances with the Indians. And the Indians kind of liked them better because they weren't trying to take their territory. So you had many Canadians, and French people, speaking people, becoming one, like fighting like the Indians, becoming like irregulars, and giving the British a real hard time. So it's just an interesting, just a pure historical account of it, and the fact that even though they made the enemy of the Iroquois, the French held out for a while. So they mentioned the battle here too. He didn't have a matchlock. He had a wheel lock. Okay, that was like the new technology of the time, but of course the flintlock proved quicker. Okay, the Indians, right, actually made it where the flintlock became more popular. It was able to shoot faster. The Indians invented loading it on the run. The Indians were actually probably better shots than a lot of Europeans were. You're putting the Indians up. I'm just saying, you're a Stone Age warrior. Okay, you're a Stone Age person. Every man's a hunter or a warrior. You're gonna be a really good fighter, and you're eating meat. You're carnivore diet, and you're drinking water. You're gonna be a big dude, straight up. So, but that's why I admire the Europeans that were able to actually be a presence here. And he shot right. The Mohawks were paralyzed with fear after he took the first shot. He killed 3 of the chiefs with them, right? The Iroquois fighting men whose wooden armor and cotton shields, right, were stunned in fight. They cannot understand how the stranger could kill their leaders so suddenly and so easily. So anyway, I don't want to belabor it, but of course they have, right, the Champlain figure, of course, the model, right, the perfect model in Model Soldiers and Illustrated History. Interesting. I like the old-fashioned ones like this, like Marx. Marx was a company here. So now this is cool. This is the German guy here. He's a collector, right? And he wrote the article. You have this too, even though this is like a super pro-looking mag, just like these scary monsters. A lot of the articles are written by not just the people that make them, but the collectors, and many times they're the same people. You get what I'm saying? So it looks at the interesting collection that he has, right? And this is interesting. He talks about him and his friends, right? Painting the old school toy soldiers. We fought countless battles based on plans from O&M Hauser, right? That was a toy soldier maker in Germany, I think in the late 1800s into the 20th century. O&M Hauser's Jung Deutschland Schlachtenspiel, right? Battle game for young Germans. That's how you teach the young people well for the nation. I like that. Well, now diversity rules. Hey, what the hell, man? Anyway, right? No, it does rule when you have a diverse collection. Right, 50 years of collecting includes flats. I never even heard of that. There's figures called flats. Right, so here we go. A box of 28mm flats. I didn't even know they had these. Obviously, these are cheaper. These are just like they're flat, like they're not 3-dimensional. Interesting. And we have here England's Krieg mit dem Zulu Kaffern in South Africa, right? South Africa. Like, yeah, the English, it's Zulu, right? The War of the Englishmen and Zulus. Boy, did I mangle those languages. But yeah, you see, and also it's cool. I like when they have the buildings too, the miniature buildings. You know, yeah, nice little collection. Like I said, I like these old school ones. You got the Scottish Black Watch Highlanders, right? Look at this. You got British armored train of the Second Anglo-Boer War, right? So the Germans. I think the Germans actually made a lot of toy soldiers. Not just the British. Got the Prussians, the Pickelhaubs. Right? I always wonder if in battle, if any of these Germans ever take like the helmet and like stab somebody with it. I know that sounds, and you got the fire engine, Mickey Mouse like firefighters. Oh, they managed to get past the copyright there. I like how they got the little miniature there, and you got the Tarzan. So yeah, cool. I like this. More flats. I had no idea that they had flats. They had paper soldiers, which were flat, but they actually had flats. I guess made out of tin. All right. And you got look at that. I like when they have these kind of backdrops, right? Seen it right? The Sphinx pyramid cut from tin. So this is made out of tin. I kind of like this stuff. The miniatures, of course. I've used the little miniatures, but for filmmaking, to try to make like when I showed you ancient. I showed you the Egyptian Sphinx and the pyramids with the little plastic miniatures. I don't if I did it good. I don't know if it was good, but I thought it was cool. So, and this is the writer. My man lives in Mannheim am Rhein, Germany. I wonder what that is. So, Gisbert Freber. He's in real estate management. All right, good, and finance IT. All right, so he made good. He did good for himself. So yeah, his little hobby. So pretty cool, man. Vintage soldiers here. So now we're just trying to see what else is here. More. Look at this. They actually had. I didn't know this. They actually made a Kelly's Hero playset of. Look at this. Mark style Kelly's Hero playset box made by his friend. Okay, so was this legit? Did they actually make this? Was this actually something that was this made recently, or was this made to promote the film? That's an interesting question. So for some reason, I think it's the latter. This is cool. Plastics. Look, that's the sea view. Remember the voice at the bottom of the sea? That's the sea view. I always liked that model. I got more stuff here. Yeah, I like the like I said, I like when they have the trees and stuff like that. This was cool, real cool. Dr. Victor Wong, right? He created a Baroque era painting as a shadow box diorama. It's very interesting how this guy made this. Okay, he used parts from other figures and then he molded them into this, and he made a diorama. Remember dioramas? Do anybody remember that? I think once again, I think my age is showing. You used to take the shoebox and you would make a diorama like dinosaurs. You would have the little plastic dinosaurs and then draw something in the back, make like paper trees. Some people would do it for like other historical things. Anyone remember dioramas for doing that for elementary school? Hit me up in the comments. Alright, we're running out of time, but like I said, you got the different scales of the soldiers. Oh, bye. Yeah. All these triggering flags. Of course, we have, what do we have here? We have the heroes. We got the heroes, right? The formidable North Korean Chinese forces. We have the heroes of the great war against the capitalist pigs. Oh. Hey, man, somebody had to kick America's ass a little bit. Oh. And, some of the books, of course, always you're going to have an Osprey book. Just for the visuals and the research alone, right? And you got another book about toy soldiers. Do I want to get into that? Do I have the money for that? Of course I don't. So, but that doesn't mean I'm not gonna. Play with your toys. Why not? It's all going down anyway.